Matheus Fernandes has decided that he is going to be joining Tottenham Hotspur this summer as he comes to an agreement with West Ham and Tottenham Hotspur for £85 million. It is mind-blowing. We are looking at 90 to 100 million euros for Matheus Fernandes, a championship player. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand how good this player is. He has been relegated twice with Southampton and West Ham, but that is not the point today. The point is that he has chosen to go to Tottenham Hotspur. Now, what are the things that we absolutely know about this particular story? And I'm going to break it down to tell you how frustrating it is. Manchester United and PSG, including Real Madrid and Arsenal, were all looking at Matheus Fernandes, and he has opted to join Tottenham Hotspur in a deal that is worth £85 million. Man United mounted a determined effort to land Matheus, but ultimately withdrew from that negotiations, unwilling to meet the asking price that West Ham brought of £85 million. Now, the fee, to give you context about this situation, West Ham demanded £85 million for their prize asset, which complicated the deal for Manchester United, with reports saying that United initially appeared to be most likely his destination in the start of the summer. Now, we all understood the situation. Even trusted journalists like Andy Meaton claimed that Fernandes, Manchester United over Tottenham Hotspur, and said that a deal would happen if they could settle on a fee with West Ham. With West Ham wanting the highest fee as much money as possible, and what's not going to happen. As of recently, June 12th, Man United's belief was that Manchester United, Fernandes would sign for them, having his dream clear of playing with his idol, Bruno Fernandes, with the law of Champions League football proving to be very powerful. Fabrizio Romano, of course, came up and gave us a different framing. His framing was brutal in hindsight because he said the player will be sold to the best offer, to the club offering the most money. So who offers 1 penny more is getting the player from West Ham. That is what we have just seen right now, and it absolutely is annoying. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not here screaming at the top of my voice, being angry, because when I look at this situation, I can't claim to not have seen it coming. I can't claim to not have seen it coming. Right now, the report saying sources close to the negotiations reveal that Tottenham Hotspur tabled more lucrative contract proposal, offering significantly better wages than their, with United exploring ways to bridge the gap on personal terms while keeping their overall wage structure in mind. This thing absolutely blows my mind. I understand what Manchester United are doing in that situation. I understand it's the right thing to do in the whole Manchester United situation. However, it is still frustrating. The amount of players that this particular situation, Tottenham Hotspur was the team that did not want to go past a certain wage bill, and they lost players to the likes of City, to the likes of Arsenal, to the likes of Manchester United, and now it looks like we have flipped and in turn become Tottenham Hotspur. Let me go on and continue with this particular situation so you guys understand every single thing. A separate report claimed both clubs have agreed personal terms with a package worth £130,000 to £140,000 per week, turning the player's head. That is what we heard. And I'm giving you guys every single thing so you can absolutely understand this. Now, this is the key part of Manchester United's point. Omar Berrada came out with an interview with Andy Meaton. You understand? And he basically pointed out, Omar Berrada vowed that Manchester United will not be held to ransom or distracted by agents in the summer transfer window. Let's start with that. This is absolutely what West Ham did in this situation. They wanted the amount of money and they were going to get it by hook or by crook. They understood that Tottenham Hotspur was desperate to get this player. They were desperate to flip this team. They were desperate to make sure that they have a midfield that can compete with the best of the best, that can compete and not have them playing on the 17th position. Come to think of it, Manchester United just lost Matheus Fernandes to a team that was in the 17th place, to a team that does not have any Champions League football to a team that is absolutely begging for players to stay. That is who we lost Matheus Fernandes to. It is absolutely insane. At this point, I think we might even be to Wrexham. I think we might lose players to West Ham United. I think we might lose players to Everton. That is how it is. But let me get back to Omar Berrada's point. Berrada promised the club will not overpay for players and will be flexible on incomings and outgoings, with the suggestion that United won't be held to ransom by West Ham for Fernandes or get into crazy bidding wars for other targets. Now, this situation, we should have understood that this is absolutely a slippery slope. Because now that we have come to the transfer window and we needed to get, first, our priority was Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson was way too much, and I agreed with the decision that we walked away because 116 million or 130 million that Nottingham Forest reported was definitely not the right choice, because we needed to build out this midfield situation. We needed to build out this midfield department, because right now, as we speak, we only have Maino and Edison. That is who we have in this midfield. And we need at least 2 or 3 more people in that midfield to absolutely secure it for next season that we have Champions League. The next thing about this situation is that we left Elliot Anderson, and then it was reported that for Manchester United, the next person that we see that can do the job just like Elliot Anderson and could be 1 year away from becoming the Elliot Anderson was Matheus Fernandes. And in that situation, we went for him, and I agreed it. It was a transfer opportunity situation where this before June 30th is June 30th now, and absolutely we were right. We were right. They had to sell the player before June 30th. They had to get an influx of all that it could to make Manchester United bid and get to a point where it was going to be a bidding war. Man United did not bite. However, Tottenham Hotspur absolutely went and bite. And based on looking at Tottenham Hotspur in that situation, they have overspent for the likes of John Paul van Hecke, because he was 1 year on his contract and they paid literally more than £50 million for his services. You get me? Giving him a lot of wages to come to Tottenham Hotspur. Second, now they have gone to overspend on Matheus Fernandes. Now, the truth about it is that the question is, who cares? Who cares? Are they overspending? They have been able to bring the players that Roberto De Zerbi says, I want. Also going to be going back into the market to get Sandro Tonali, because this particular situation is totally different for Tottenham Hotspur. But for Manchester United, we need to understand this. Manchester United are going into this summer understanding that Bruno Fernandes is, if you give me a team that I can work with, I will stay. If you do not, he will leave. I don't understand how it doesn't get into their head. Now, it has literally put us in a very peculiar situation. Because what Omar Berrada said, he says the template for what we did last summer, which was the 24-25, will be replicated. You will have a clear plan, and you know exactly what positions you are looking to strengthen. Absolutely. I love it. I understand what the situation is. But what we did last summer, we got Matheus Cunha, that was £65 million in his release clause. We got his name. Look at that. I've even forgotten his name. We got Benjamin Šeško. Benjamin Šeško was a market opportunity. We have him for a long time, and so we finally got him. We got the Frenchman, Mbeumo, on the right-hand side from Brentford for the same amount of price, 60 something. But in that situation, he gave absolute priority to Manchester United. And so Manchester United wanted to repeat the same thing this year, and it did not work, because even though Matheus Fernandes absolutely wanted to play for his idol, he never says that he wanted to play for Manchester United. I understand that his role model is Bruno Fernandes, and it would have been great to see both of them play together. However, Manchester United were not going to meet that evaluation, and he is not working with an agent that he would be able to say, this is the team I'm going for, the only team I want to. He's working with George Mendes, and George Mendes is not a person that does anything without his influence in it. Now he has absolutely influenced this kid to go to Tottenham Hotspur. Of course, and this is a situation that I believe, based on the contract, if I am the agent, I am putting a release clause for when Real Madrid shows up. George Mendes understands this game in and out. I'm putting a release clause for Matheus Fernandes when Real Madrid comes in. In my mind, that would have to be it. That would have to be his plan, because you can't tell me that going to play for Tottenham Hotspur is better than going to play for Manchester United. You can't tell me that going back to back, maybe to back in the championship is better than going to play for Manchester United. You can't tell me that. Focus is on Manchester United. We let Elliot Anderson go without a fight. We let Bruno Guimaraes go without a fight. We let go because of his gambling issues, or the money might be too much. We let Anton Semenyo go without a fight. We are leaving Matheus Fernandes going to Tottenham Hotspur without a fight now. Now the situation, because the battle is basically discipline or drift. That is what we are focused on. Are we going to be focused on, we want to be disciplined in the way we spend, which I agree, it's absolutely a critical thing. But then you also have the risk of drifting to obscurity. What we have been seeing, drifting to obscurity. Over 10 years, we have been the little boys, the noisy neighbors in Manchester. That right there is absolutely annoying to think about. That right there is so devastating, because Manchester United, that I know and love, have always been on the forefront of success. So how we can't be able to go in and bully our way through getting Matheus Fernandes, I have no idea. Refusing to pay 85 million might be smart restraint at this point. Or it might be the same passivity that cost Man United top targets before. Because Sir Alex Ferguson had the opportunity to get Benzema and says there is no market value in this situation. And Real Madrid went and paid the money to Lyon and got Benzema, that became a Ballon d'Or winner. The preferred destination paradox in what we were looking at. If he wanted Manchester United, why didn't United just pay the gap? Or you can also ask, if he wanted Manchester United, why didn't he force his way to Manchester United? Just like Benjamin Šeško said, I am going to United. I'm not going to Newcastle, even though Newcastle paid the more money. All these things could be said, but the truth about it is that Manchester United lost this race. We lost this race, and we have become the banter of this situation. We have become the banter of this situation. Berrada's words now read either prophetic or like, think about it. That's what it feels like. Because it feels like Omar Berrada situation. I was like, look, we know it's going to be expensive. The truth about it is that the entire midfield, the entire world of football right now are the midfield as the biggest point of reference. So every single midfield market just got added 25 million on their value. So now Manchester United can go back to getting Baleba, which I particularly absolutely love. Love the fact that we are Manchester United and we are going to be getting, or hopefully trying to get, Baleba that would fit that particular role in a beautiful way for me. I believe in Baleba's talent, and I've been saying this so many times and I will continue saying it. However, Manchester United now have been put in a position where you have to go get Tchouaméni from Real Madrid. You have to. You have missed out on so many top talents. And Ederson is a risk. I agree, but a lot of people, not for me, but it will be a risk for a lot of people. And for you to get Manchester United back in this transfer window to win it, to be the most busiest or the busiest team in the goddamn Premier League, go in there, go to Europe and start making the purchases. There's Manu Kone over there. Absolute fire. There's Angelo Stiller over there. Absolute fire. There's Felix Mecha. Absolute fire. And of course, Tchouaméni. So we have opportunities. We need to go there and execute. Manchester United are in a position right now that you have to get it. You have to get it done, because if you do not, we would be firing Michael Carrick at the end of firing Michael Carrick because our midfield is not good enough. Manu Ugarte just got an injury that will keep him out for 9 to 12 months. There is no defense. There is no substitute. There's no depth in our midfield. It's Kobe Mainoo and Ederson that has not even been announced yet. Trust me when I say this. Trust me when I say this. I understand Manchester United's feeling is to make sure that we stop getting mugged. Also need to understand that we cannot swing that pendulum all the way to the other side, because if we become passive and let players go, Elliot Anderson went to a team that is better than us in City. Now, Matheus Fernandes have gone to a team that is worse than us in Tottenham Hotspur. And that right there is absolutely annoying to think about. That right there is so frustrating. It is absolutely abysmal of a strategy in my mind. Because I was thinking, I was giving them the benefit of the doubt. They did this with Šeško and they got it spot on. We got a cheaper price, but we still got the player. However, now it is up to you, Manchester United. You need to go in there and figure out a way for us to absolutely say, we did not see this coming, but you absolutely have changed our mind to what you had planned. Matheus Fernandes is going to be signing for Tottenham Hotspur. And it's sad to see, but they absolutely have gotten a team. They are building a team in the first month of this transfer window. Senesi, Tottenham Hotspur. John-Paul Van Hecke, Tottenham Hotspur. Andy Robinson, Tottenham Hotspur. The likes of Matheus Fernandes now, Tottenham Hotspur, they are still going for Tonali. And Tonali says he wants to play for Roberto De Zerbi. And this Tottenham Hotspur. So 5 players in a month when Manchester United needed to be doing the same thing. And we have just one that has not even been announced yet. We have a problem. We hopefully would solve it. I'll keep you guys updated with every single thing that happens down here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.